Welcome back to our last episode before the NFL draft to the Purple Rain podcast. Once again, thank you for coming through episode 166 of the Purple Rain podcast, the Ben Cleveland episode, the Ben Grubbs episode, the Ryan Jensen episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Like I said before, it's our last one before Thursday night, which is one of the biggest days of the year in the NFL. The NFL draft, hold the number 22 overall pick. Lots of things we're going to do with that. But first and foremost, to keep up to all the date with all that, follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast. If you miss a pick, you don't know who we're going to get. I guarantee you it'll be on there. Guarantee it. You can follow this guy on Instagram, on Twitter, at Sutton Def. Follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod and on Twitter at simplyas10. And most importantly, I actually was wearing them today. The Manscaped, all right? The Manscaped box, you got like 4 pairs of them, all right? You can have the same, color, boxer, but you got to rotate them. Got to keep them clean.
Right, of course.
Very comfortable. I mean,
yeah.
Had, long day today, just very laid back, relaxed, comfortable. So if you want to get anything on Manscaped, all right, go type in manscaped.com, browse around, click what you like, throw it in the cart, and before you, pay, put in PRP, save you 20% off and free shipping. It doesn't get much better.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't, to be honest with you. Like my guy Alex said, man, thank you guys so much for joining this episode of the show, Purple Rain Podcast, episode 166. Last one before the draft. Oh, man, Thursday is going to be fun, isn't it? It's going to be fun.
There's so many storylines. Like they said the Texans might not take a quarterback number 2. Nobody knows.
Really?
Yeah, nobody knows what's going to happen. Who's going 1? We think Bryce Young.
Yeah, I think that's the general consensus that he's going.
We thought Aiden Hutchinson last year, so it's like,
yeah, but I feel like quarterback's a little bit different,
Yeah, you're right. Like, you're right.
Most times when there's a clear-cut number 1, he normally goes 1. Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, I think Bryce Young is that guy. Kyler, yeah. So I think Bryce Young goes first, and then with that second pick, it surprises me that you say that. There's rumors going around that the Texans aren't going to get a C.J. Stroud or Anthony Richardson or whoever at quarterback, Will Levis, because they can double dip because if I understand correctly, they have the 13th pick too.
I believe so. Yeah, they had the Browns pick. They have I think it's maybe 14 or something. I don't know, but yeah, they had the Browns pick.
So if I'm Houston, what reason do I have to not get C.J. Stroud, and then if he's there at 13, get his college teammate Jackson Smith and Jigba, and just do it that way? Like,
I mean, we saw a team before that was down in the dumps do that, and now they're a contender every year in Cincinnati.
Yeah, and they're in our division. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get that.
ESPN reported today. I'm like, I thought it was like it was either Stroud or Young and Stroud. Like it was those two the first 2 off, and there was even something that like Will Levis is the favorite now to be the second quarterback drafted.
Like, I did see that earlier. I don't know.
I'm not sold. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough of any of these guys, to be honest with you. But I do know that Bryce Young, from what I've gathered, he is the most NFL ready out of all of them. I know news came out the other day, C.J. Stroud, he didn't particularly test very well on this, what do they call it, the S2 exam or something like that. Yeah, it's supposed to test like how good you are at processing information, things like that. He didn't score that high, especially not compared to guys like Bryce Young. So I don't know. He's kind of falling down some draft boards because of that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Now, before we get into anything else, we do have us a super chat donation. The first one of the episode, man. This one's coming from Max Offit. I think we can stamp him as a Purple Rain Pioneer if we have not done that already. Yeah.
Have we? I don't think we have. I think it's
okay.
Yeah. I think you have to
now. Max, you got the stamp of approval. You are now a fart,
Yeah.
a part of the Purple Rain Pioneers group. Man, we appreciate you. Send the 5 piece in the chat says this may be my old head energy. I like JK, but I'm tired of these Twitter fingers on our young offensive players. Okay, well I guess we can go ahead and talk about this now.
Yeah. Lead the
Yeah,
way.
let's go ahead and lead the way with this. So obviously earlier, you guys see the tweet in the thumbnail. JK Dobbins, well, NFL, I think it was the NFL account, right? They tweeted like, "Oh, J.K. Dobbins has been in the league for X amount of years. He's done this, got this amount of stats, things like that."
Kevin Ostreicher from Locked On Ravens saying 3 years ago today,
Right, yeah,
that was JK Dobbins with the 55th overall pick. He's
yeah.
accumulated 226 carries for 1,325 yards, 5.9 yards per carry, 5.9, and 11 touchdowns in just 23 career games. And he says, just imagine if, ... never mind, ... upside down smiley face.
Yeah.
I know what
Man,
the emojis mean. I know, I'm getting up there in age, but I know what they mean. And that's
yeah,
like a little kind of like the low-key, like the sipping tea, kind of like shutting up before you say anything, pretty bad.
right. I mean, I think
Interesting.
JK, he's still because we've seen him speak out before on his disdain for how he was handled, things like that. Which I totally understand because if a guy's getting 6 yards a carry, 6 yards a carry, that is insanely good numbers, to be honest with you. So he should be getting more opportunities. And the only reason why this particular tweet at this specific time, it doesn't sting as much to me, it doesn't really annoy me as much, is because we don't have Roman anymore. Greg Roman's already gone. So, like, I think that the assumption is that he's talking about, or he's saying, in essence, just imagine if, Roman used me the correct way, or just imagine if the Ravens in general handled me correctly. And there was somebody who said earlier in the chat, why I think I can pull up the comment really quick.
Yeah,
Let me see.
Majin Bull.
Yeah,
Majin Bull.
yeah. So Majin Buu says, how many Harbaugh hires are we going to pretend are the problem before we acknowledge it's Harbaugh? Thoughts?
So I'm gonna go back to what Max said. I do kind of agree with Max here. The whole Twitter finger stuff. I'm kind of tired of going on Twitter. Maybe it's the whole contract debate, but like I'm tired of going on there and just seeing like, what are we, the news of today? What are the
Right.
Ravens gonna be the main character of Twitter again in the sports Twitter? And the tweet had like over 1.1 million views last time I checked it, which I'm like here we go
Yeah.
again. There's the good old Ravens back in the news. One thing I do want to say is like I understand why he's saying this, but I feel like the culprits are gone. Just like
Yeah.
Majin Buu was saying, if JK was mad at just Roman and Saunders, who are no longer with the team, then he wouldn't be saying this months after. So if those were the people he was mad at, I'm like, all right, like new season, new stuff, like kind of get over it. But if he's saying it because somebody else is still there, which could very well be the case, then there's a problem. And we've talked about this before about like the whole locker room, because if it's just becoming just a yearly thing. Last year was Hollywood. The year before it was Orlando Brown. We had Deshaun Jackson, Des Bryant, Willie Snead. The list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, I
And
don't think, now that you say that, I don't think that there's been any other team in the league, and maybe I just haven't been paying close enough attention, but I don't think there's any other team in the league that have so many players speaking out against their organization, on social media, things like that. Sometimes you'll hear like, oh, maybe a quarterback or a receiver who's up to get an extension, he might wipe his social media page of all,
Michael
everything
Thomas.
related to the team. Exactly.
Yeah.
But you've got, oh my gosh, you've got Tyus Bowser posting fire Greg Roman, papers on the floor. You got JK Dobbins speaking out. You got, like you said, all those other guys, Dez, other veterans we brought to the team kind of saw issues with what was going on. So I think the Ravens definitely do need to do some looking within to try to, I guess, right the ship in a way, and just kind of get the culture back to where it needs to be. Because right now, especially in the midst of this whole Lamar Jackson contract situation, I feel like nobody on the Ravens in terms of player personnel feels like they can trust the higher ups.
And that's like an amazing
an
point
issue.
you bring up with like how no other team. I remember only like LaShawn McCoy was the only person. No, LaShawn McCoy and Le'Veon Bell caught out the Chiefs. They didn't do anything after that. I feel like that was more pettiness. I think LaShawn McCoy was benched. He didn't even play in the one Super Bowl. They got whooped in by the Bucks. Le'Veon Bell just wasn't good. He just boxed a FIFA YouTuber. That's how down bad Le'Veon Bell is. Beat him, but box a
Yeah.
FIFA YouTuber that I watched growing up, which is it's weird to see, very weird to see. But like,
Well,
and like what you said with the Tyus Bowser thing, this man Tyus Bowser recorded papers saying fire your offensive coordinator on the castle premises of where the team goes, team facility.
yep.
Recorded. We said we've brought up this up before. Recorded it, typed out a caption, posted it. That's like a
Yeah.
3-step process. You record it, type out, post.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's like we should be having more stories about that. Should have been a bigger story than it actually was, I think, personally. And it really didn't get any news outside of from Baltimore. But there, like you said, there has to be some looking from within.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much again for your super chat donation, Max. We really do appreciate it. Like my guy Simply as 10 says here, like the video, guys. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, but only if you're enjoying the content that you're listening to. You know, we don't want to twist anybody's arm here. So
Yeah,
yeah, if you're enjoying it, go ahead
leg.
and hit that subscribe button. We'd appreciate it. All right. April 123 says, I feel like every one of our offensive players is going to have their own version of the Soldier's tweet. Yeah. The hope is that with the new offensive coordinator, we can actually be more productive on offense, which will lead to an increase in morale for our player personnel. And, you know, maybe, like I said, the culture can get back to where it needs to be. But I think it also does start with paying Lamar. I think it kind of starts with that. You know, if we can lock Lamar down and really everybody on the team can, because everybody on the team already knows how important Lamar Jackson is to the Ravens, you know. So us being on the fence with Lamar, everybody else on that team is kind of just like questioning, I would assume, like, okay, how successful can we be without Lamar Jackson if he decides not to come back, if we decide not to bring him back, things like that. So it's just, like I said, it starts with paying Lamar Jackson, and everything else I feel like will follow suit. But let me see what else you guys are saying in the chat here about this JK Dobbins situation. 410 Byron, what's going on, man? Says it would have been bigger if it said fire Harbaugh. Yeah, for sure. For sure. But nobody really calls out Harbaugh like that. You know, Harbaugh hasn't really been on any sort of hot seat since right before we got Lamar Jackson. You know, and Lamar Jackson just really revitalized John Harbaugh's career in a lot of different ways. And yeah, it's crazy to see, but here we are.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll get hot. I kind of hope it does, but maybe that makes him actually make changes. Who knows? But with the whole, like, bring up the contract as well, that solves a lot of things. I don't think it's the types of things that solve are more than just on him, more just Lamar, that is. It's just the whole team. Because I'm still surprised Odell came here with the question marks we have at quarterback. You know,
Right.
like we have Tyler Huntley now who signed his tender. I mean,
Yep.
whoop-de-doo. Pro Bowler, I guess. I should respect him. He was a Pro Bowler.
Right.
But after that, like, even Anthony Brown, we have a whole bunch of question marks at quarterback that if number 8 does not play, and with the whole Aaron Rodgers now to the AFC, we are very, very easily out of the playoff race. I know this defense is really, really good, but we've talked about it. It's an offensive league.
Yeah.
And we couldn't put up 20 points last year.
Couldn't do it.
You're only going to win so many games playing really, really good defense in 2023 NFL, which is kind of worrying to me personally. Which is why I really want our quarterback back. Just thinking about that, not trying to disrespect Tyler Huntley at all. But yeah. I mean, I don't know how many games you win with that.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, if you think about who's it really benefiting that we're waiting this long to get this deal done, you know, because you think about it, the Ravens don't want to pay Lamar Jackson a big sum of money. They think that's going to be detrimental to the team, but I would argue that it's even more detrimental to the team that you're holding out this long on doing it because it's a distraction. It's a distraction. Like we're not, or at least I don't feel like this team is full speed ahead into next season, getting ready, like locked in. Like you got guys like this is why we're getting tweets from guys like JK Dobbins and other guys speaking out and whatnot, you know, because the focus isn't there. The focus isn't there right now. So they kind of have to gauge like at what point does this distraction hinder us more than would be coming out of our bank account. I
Yeah.
don't think Steve Bisciotti's thought about it that way. So
Yeah, and like we said before, it's both sides. We're not blaming one side right now. We
sure,
both
yeah,
wanted to get done. Just trying to look at that from both sides. I don't want to blame all one side and then kind of be looked at. Well, why this and this and this and this. But enough with that whole contract talk again, because like I said, it just solves so many problems. Like I was telling you before we went live, like finally the Aaron Rodgers saga is over. He's a Jet. Like it's no more of him going to the Pat McAfee show. No more of these little stupid retreats of him like in these dark rooms. No more of him going to some random country, probably just taking an ungodly amount of shrooms. Like it's over. It's over. So I'm hoping
yeah,
that our situation here in Baltimore is over soon, and we can look ahead to the season, because I think if we have a good draft and we have a quarterback one back, I like our chances a lot.
yeah,
So that means I'm gonna segue into some draft talk real quick.
sure, yeah, yeah.
So on Easter Sunday, what was that? The 9th, I believe. I think no, the 9th. Yeah, April 9th,
I
I
want to say
think.
something like that. Yeah,
The Ravens signed Odell Beckham Jr. We all know that. And if you would have asked me what I want the Ravens to get number 22 on Thursday, I probably would have said a receiver. But now, definitely has changed. For me, it's cornerback. Um,
for sure. Yeah,
After talking with Huddled Up Films, Jason, kind of hearing about the amount of really good cornerback prospects, I also wouldn't be opposed to trading down to accumulate more picks. With that being said, if there's one JSN at 22, I'm like definitely not trying to pass up on him. But what are your like top positions of need, you think, going in to the draft, thinking about free agency? If you're EDC, what are you doing?
well, the way that I, as a Ravens fan, would like to approach the draft, and kind of the way that we've been doing it the past couple of years, is you can either go after BPA, best player available, or you can go after one of your more glaring needs. Now, our defense, I don't think our defense has any glaring needs. Like, yes, we do have a need at corner. I understand that, but it's not like we don't have a corner. You know what I mean? How many teams are going to have 2 and 3 wide receivers that can really just burn through all of our guys? And, receivers are getting better, sure. Offenses are getting better, sure. But for me, I would not be mad if the Ravens drafted an edge rusher, an edge rusher. And yeah, that may be like a hot take, and that's not like one of our big needs or anything like that, but it is a premium position. You know, that's one of those positions where you have to keep swinging the fence for every year in the draft to see if you can hit on a guy like, a Micah Parsons or somebody like that. You know what I mean? Or a TJ Watt, things like that. Guys like that. Maybe TJ Watt's not a good example because he already had lineage in the NFL with his brother. But anyway, you guys get what I'm saying. Like, I think that could be a possibility. But I do agree with what you're saying. Like, our number one need, just like objectively, cornerback. So, but I wouldn't be mad either way if we went for like maybe like edge, or if the receiver is there, JSN, if he's there, then like, yeah, I would say take him, you know. But I think we're in a pretty good spot, to be honest with you. We're in a pretty good spot in terms of personnel. Like I said, I don't see any like glaring need, like we have to have this. I mean, we do need a left guard, you know, but that's not something I don't see us investing in that with the 22nd pick, But so in short, I'd say cornerback, but I mean, I would not be opposed to like edge rusher. What's the kid out of Georgia? Was it Nolan?
Oh, yep. I think Nolan's. Is it Nolan's? I got you.
Nolan Smith. I want to say it is Nolan Smith.
Nolan
Yeah,
Smith. Nolan Smith, indeed.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at a guy like him earlier. If he falls to us, I wouldn't mind picking up him, because once you get an edge rusher who can really be a game wrecker, I mean, that really puts your defense over the top.
That's really the only thing we're really missing on this defense. We have a ball hawk
Yeah,
in safety. We have a lockdown corner. We have,
talk
I
about it.
think, two playmakers, a top two linebacking duo. All right, I'm not going to sit here and go into it. It's the Niners and the Ravens. It's best linebacking duos. We have, I think, a Justin Madubuike who we need to pay before it's too late, because this guy is going to break the bank, and I do not want to see him go. I know you've been a big fan of him. I know I've been a big fan of him. He just has been producing, and I think he's low key underrated. If you look at his stats, he was doing a lot. And this year, without Calais Campbell, he's taken on more, more responsibility that I think he'll step up to. It's
Yeah.
just the edge. Who's going to get the sacks? We had Justin Houston turn back time last year. That's not going to happen again.
Right.
We can't sit here in June, July. He literally got signed during our open practice in 2021. I remember when that happened. And we expect him to fix that. We can't be depending on this guy to, save our edge rushing situation in August when OTAs and training camp is, gone and started. So
Exactly.
I don't hate that either. I also wouldn't hate if we got a lineman. If there's a good prospect lineman, offensive lineman there or defensive at 22, I'm not going to get mad at it because Tyler Linderbaum worked out pretty damn good last year. I don't give him the love that he deserves, but he did really well for a center just stepping in. He had his concerns, like I think the small arm, stuff like that. He's only going to get better. I think he'll be a Pro Bowler. But edge, I think, is a good one because as much as I want Oweh to get 10 sacks, be this guy, he hasn't shown it yet. Showed us a lot of promise year one. Showed a lot of promise in that playoff game last year that we lost. But now it's time to step up. And I don't think, we can talk about the fifth-year options for our 2021 class, Bateman and Oweh. Right now, if you said, would you pick it up? I think it's no for both of them, unfortunately.
Ooh, wow. Even Bateman? Are you sure? Just because he's been hurt?
Now, next year when this happens, I think Bateman will get picked up. Hell, we didn't even pick up Hollywood just because he wanted out.
Yeah.
The jury's still out on Patrick Queen, who I think has just gotten better and better. I want both of them to have these years, but I think
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're talking about like a fifth year, option. So we've only seen a couple of years out of both guys, and hopefully with Bateman specifically, he can come back in these next couple of years be healthy, because Odell's not going to be around forever, right? This kind of wide receiver carousel that we get with veterans, they're in and out every year. Bateman is the guy. He's supposed to be the guy. We spent the first round pick on him a couple of years ago. Like that, we're still waiting on that to pan out. And when he does play, he's effective.
Right. We've seen nothing but good things.
Exactly. So granted, if he can stay healthy, I'm picking up that fifth year option because I think that Bateman can turn into something special.
If he has the year that I think that me and you both expect him to have, then it's getting picked up 100%. I just think the way that I know Queen hasn't gotten picked up yet, I know because they got Roquan and gave him all this money.
Yeah.
I still feel like, I know we're probably not going to pay him, unfortunately. But I'm going to, be devil's advocate and say, well, there's only so much money to go around this defense. We have money locked up in Marlon, money locked up in Marcus, money locked up in Roquan. Edge rushing wise, who do we have money locked up in? Are we going to extend? We have 3 more years of David Ojabo. We have 2 more of Oweh. Is Oweh going to get this big bag? So far, we probably not. It could change.
Yeah.
And if we're just relying on these 1 year, throw it at the wall and hope it sticks edge rushers, we're not going to pay him.
Right. And it's only going to get you but so far, because those guys have very, very clear ceilings. Apologize for my dog. But those guys have very, very clear ceilings. But yeah, he's a little bit angry right now. He's a little frustrated.
I can't blame him. I'd be frustrated too sometimes as a Ravens fan.
Look at Max with the bold prediction. Bateman, 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns this year. Let's go. I would love that.
I hope that happens. The touchdowns because we saw him. He had the one in week 1 last year, then the on week 2, week 1 and week 2. That was the first 2 games, 2 touchdowns when he was fully healthy. And then it kind of went downhill with the whole foot.
Oh yeah, that blew me. Honestly, the best 2 plays that tell you everything you need to know about Rashad Bateman is the one, I think it was his rookie season when he against the Browns. I think he was getting passes from Huntley. I think Huntley was throwing to him, and he had that one deep ball that he went up and just took from Greedy Williams, and I think he got in and scored, but I think they ruled him down at the 1 or something like that. That play. And then also the one against the Dolphins. Everybody knows which one I'm talking about. The slant just takes it all the way to the house, just running by guys. Those 2 plays right there tell you that, okay, this guy is a legit wide receiver 1. He's legit. Just got to stay healthy, man. I definitely think that Max's prediction is not too far off. 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns. That would be great. That'd be great. But we have not seen an 1,000-yard receiver like it, and we had Hollywood. He had like what 10.08 that one year,
Yeah.
but never really seen that type of production from the wide receiving group.
Yeah, that weird 2021 season when everybody just dropped like flies, which I don't want to think about that year again. That was painful. And with the new offense, I hope that he's talked to Todd Monken. They've talked about their expectations for him, where they see him, what they know he can do. Because he was drafted in the same draft class as Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown. That was the one too.
What's going on, Bossy Raven?
What's going on, bro? So he was drafted in a pretty deep class. So I just don't want him to be that odd one out, like N'Keal Harry is in 2019 in that draft class.
Oof.
There's all these good receivers, and there's N'Keal Harry.
N'Keal Harry. Let me see. Jonathan Washington Jr. chiming in here says, if it's no cornerback or wide receiver at 22 we're taking, I want the Ravens to go offensive line, continue to build a wall to support either Lamar, hopefully, or the next guy. Cleveland is still a question mark at left guard, for sure. Definitely got to get the left guard figured out. I definitely think we'll get one maybe in the, I'll say maybe like third round. We might invest in one and see where that goes, experiment a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, O-line, that's a good point, too. That's a good point. But I do think that cornerback is a little bit more of a need than O-line at this specific time. We had a really good O-line last year.
Yeah.
O-line played really well.
So I just pulled up our picks. So we have 5 this year, which is like not normal.
Yeah.
First one is in round 1, number 22. Round 3, number 86. Round 4, number 124. Round 5, number 157. And round 6, number 199. So I agree with Jonathan there. The one thing I will kind of just like not, I'm not going to disagree, but if there's no cornerback or receiver there, and if there is like a lineman that is not worth, that 22, but he is a first round talent, I would try to trade back to accumulate more picks.
Okay.
I do want to end up with like 7 picks, ideally. I don't want to have 10 or 11 like last year, and then we have to cut guys like Tyler Beatty or trade people like Sean Wade 2 years ago. But I do like having new young talent, because who knows what happens. I still think there's a player in Tylan Wallace. I'm probably like one of the only few people that think that, but I watched his college highlights again, and I'm like, this dude, like, there's no way this dude is like, I saw something like he was like a top prospect before he tore his ACL, and I'm like, this guy's only seeing time on special teams. Why is that? It's not. I know that the whole Prochet stuff, but throwing interception, he would get flags on him. Tylan Wallace really hasn't done any of that. He hasn't gotten a flag for OPI holding. He just is there as a special teams gunner. I think there's a player in him. I really do. I think there is somebody there, but I wouldn't mind us trading back maybe to like number 28, 29, maybe picking up like a 3rd or 4th round pick along with that.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I mean, the fan in me would be a little bit disappointed, I must admit, trading back. But, if it's for the better of the team, like you said, man, it's better to have more draft picks because you can just kind of swing for the fences with some of these guys, and some of them may pan out. And if they do pan out, hey, look, you've got some cheap talent for the next 4 years. So that's that's always a good thing. Always a good thing. So
I'll tell you what though, I wouldn't be mad. All right, just hear me out. We trade back for like 7 picks. We traded back like 2 or 3 times last year. Get like a 3rd round pick. We swap first, get a 3rd round. Flip that 3rd round for DeAndre Hopkins. All right. Now them 5 picks, I don't care anymore. Because I feel like,
I thought they said they were looking for a 2nd for Hopkins.
If they think they're going to get a 2nd for Hopkins who wants out, and that's what they traded for him years ago, they're
crazy.
they're stay off the weed. It's like Stephen A. Smith says.
I could have just sworn there was a report that said something about that. But I mean, hey, that would not be a bad idea at all. Now that you got me thinking about it, now it's like, do the Ravens try to make a play for DeAndre Hopkins live during the draft? Can you imagine how entertaining that would be?
Last year, they took Hollywood from us. We'll take DeAndre from you.
Yeah. Nice little even swap there. Let's see what you guys are saying. Baltimore Ravens says last year Marcus Peters was not healthy. Would be nice if he came back on a discount, but I understand he wants that dough, though. What do you think about Marcus Peters?
I want him back. I Definitely want him back.
So if we want Marcus Peters back, then why do we necessarily need to get a cornerback?
Because unfortunately, you know it, and I know it. We're gonna have Kevon Seymour getting snaps at defensive back week 11. I don't know how. It's just he's gonna be in there on a crucial drive. It's gonna be Kevon Seymour against T.
And
Higgins.
have we given up hope against Jalen Armour Davis?
No,
No?
he barely. He I think got hurt last year, and they just stashed him on the IR.
I mean, Alabama guy. That's something to think about, man. I think that he should get a little bit more playing time. I know he was giving up some big plays in the beginning of the season. He was one of the culprits in that Dolphins game for sure. Him, along with Kyle Hamilton too, who turned out to be pretty good first. But yeah, I mean, we have some pieces at corner that I feel like you said to your point, we haven't really experimented enough with. You know,
Yeah,
so corner is a big need. Oh, and Max brings up Pepe.
yeah,
You
Pepe
know,
Williams.
yeah.
How
So
about
we've got some
how about I
pieces.
pull up our depth chart real quick?
Yeah, why not? I mean,
And
so
we
we
and
can
we
really
talk
see what we
about
need.
we talk about this Ravens secondary. So I think safety wise, we have Geno Stone, Ardarius Washington, Marcus Williams, and Kyle Hamilton. I
Right.
do like that. I wouldn't be opposed, maybe like a 6 rounder, if like another guy like Geno fell, because Geno was like, supposed to be a 2nd round pick and he fell to the 7th. Wouldn't hate that in the 6th round. So here's our cornerbacks. Oh, boy, this is lovely, Jubbly. Obviously, Marlon Humphrey, and they have starting next to him is Brandon Stevens, then Jalen Armour Davis, Pepe Williams, Darrell Worley, Kevon Seymour, Trayvon Mullen, and then Bo Pete Keys. The same Bo Pete Keys that in Week 5, 2021, Hollywood routed him up and broke his ankles against the Colts.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think that's a pretty. It's a decent depth chart for cornerbacks. To be honest with you, it's not as bad as I guess you could say it sounds. What are we thinking on Brandon Stevens right now? What are your thoughts on him? Because he shows up pretty big in some moments.
Makes a good play and then kind of gets beat. The
Yeah,
last game he played last year with the Steelers game, he had a great pass deflection on George Pickens. Then later in the game, Pickens just like makes this crazy catch on him, then like steps
yeah.
over him, disrespectful AI. There's a player there, no doubt about it.
Mm.
Sports
Yeah, I'm
Gambling
kind
YouTube
of.
says it's decent, but it's not going to be good in our division. That is true. I mean, it's good
Mm,
against like a Browns, but against the Bengals, like you have T. Higgins on Brandon Stevens, Tyler Boyd on is that what?
but this goes back to the reason why I say that like we need to keep taking shots at edge rusher because what does a good edge rusher do? I mean, he shuts down the opportunity for these cornerbacks to get burnt, because the quarterback's on the ground. So I don't know, man. I definitely still think, you know, edge rusher would be a big need for us because we just don't have that guy yet. We don't have that game record, just point blank period. Don't know about the first round, but just something to think about, guys. Just something to think about. But
Ooh,
Sports Gaming YouTube, you are right.
so if we're talking about our edge rushers right now, Oway and Bowser,
Yeah.
Ojabo, Dalen Hayes, and Jeremiah Moon.
You see what I mean? Like we
And
can
even thinner, our defensive line: Michael Pierce, Broderick Washington, Justin Matabike, Travis Jones, Brent Urban.
yeah.
I mean, definitely one other guy there.
Yeah. Defensive line losing Calais Campbell, man. We're gonna feel that. We are going
Yeah,
to feel that loss, like for sure. Um, Matt BK, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, definitely hope he can kind of take the torch that Matabike was kind of passing, not Matabike, but Calais Campbell was kind of passing off to him. And I think it's his time. This might be Justin Matabike's year. So yeah, to your point, they should definitely go ahead and pay him before it's too late. But no, yeah, we definitely need to go D line. Also, like you were saying, cornerback. I definitely agree with that too. You were talking about wide receiver as well. What's the wide receiver core looking like? I know we have a good idea, but
okay. Yeah. So receivers are three: Odell, Bateman, Duvernay, Aguilar, Prochet, Tylan Wallace, Andy Isabella, Tariq Black, who we just signed, Mike Thomas, not the Michael Thomas from the Saints, I wish though, and then Shamar
Yeah.
Bridges.
Yeah, so the one that really stands out to me is Devin Duvernay. What what are our plans for him? Because we've got an Odell Beckham Jr., we've got a Rashad Bateman, we've got a Mark Andrews. There's only one football to go around. And Devin Duvernay was seen as kind of like that gadget guy, trick plays, things like that. And he actually had some really big moments last year. So it's very interesting to me to think about what Todd Monken has planned for one Devin Duvernay, knowing that there's all these other mouths to feed on the receiving core as well.
Yeah. I've seen some stuff saying that we trade him because he does have a little bit of a cap hit. I don't know who takes back kicks instead. I know Prochet was taking back punts, but he would just catch them and not really do much with it because he has hands, not the speed. I don't want us to go back to what we were doing when we had Duvernay out, when we had Bateman out, and we were just throwing out Andy Isabella, like some random stuff. Deshaun Jackson. I don't want to. We don't like. What did we do to deserve this? What did we do to deserve like seeing Andy Isabella out there as like just doing cardio at that point? I'll call it what he was just doing cardio, just running like that Russell Westbrook meme. Right now I'm just running around. That was what Andy Isabella was doing. Like he was just running around. That's a sad right there.
Jonathan Washington Jr. says Nelson Aguilar would replace Duve if he was traded.
Okay. Kick returns, sure. The punt returns, I'm a little worried about the hands, but that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Unless we have like a cornerback who can do that too, that did in college. Who knows? We could draft somebody and they return punts in college. Who knows? But I definitely want another receiver. I want to keep Duvernay, but if Todd Monken does what he did in Tampa and Cleveland, he's going to be using these guys, so I would like another one.
Okay. Let me see. We got a question here from Max Offa. Guys, get your questions down in the live chat. Drop your questions. I'm going to go ahead and answer some of these. So Max says, what do you guys think of Zay Flowers? Dude is a dog. What are your thoughts on Zay Flowers?
I do like him. I do like Zay Flowers. 22. Don't know how I feel about it. If we trade back and then get him, I'd be cool with it.
Is he the archetype of receiver that would fit our offense?
See, I don't know. Because when I think of the receivers that were in Todd Monken, okay, Odell, Jarvis, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Zay Flowers is 5'10". Let me see. This is the height of other. Chris Godwin, 6'1". I definitely think he would be. He could do big plays, but it's like I don't know if I'm going to spend that high of a pick.
Oh yeah, I definitely understand that. I mean, if we're gonna take a receiver at 22, I guess we're thinking like is JSN or nobody if he happens to fall, which we doubt highly. But yeah, definitely would like a speedy guy though, like a burner. I would not be mad if we drafted a burner for a wide receiver. Maybe a little bit shorter guy who can just get down the field, take the top off of defense. That's the one thing that I feel like we're kind of missing. And don't get me wrong, Bateman and Odell, they can kind of serve that role too a little bit, but I think that they would work better working in the intermediate parts of the field to help Lamar out in that way. So let's see.
I see Sports Game YouTube says Addison is a guy I like Addison as well. I don't hate any receiver in this draft. Well, actually, maybe Quentin Johnson. I'm not the biggest fan of him. I like Zay Flowers. I like Jalen Hyatt. Jonathan Washington said I like him. I like what's the other guy? Mingo from Ole Miss. I like him as well. Jonathan Mingo. He's a good player. More I think of a day two guy.
Yeah.
There are other options, but I'm just worried that maybe it's just like the Greg Roman like PTSD. Like if we draft a guy in the day two, a receiver, he's just gonna be blocking. So I should probably get that out of my head. Like maybe these guys will be given a chance that are like day 2, day 3 picks.
Let's see. Bossy Raven says here, any surprise trades this draft? ... Patrick Queen.
My 13th
We
reason.
we hope not exactly. Yeah, we hope not. But like we were talking about earlier, man, that D Hop trade is definitely on the table. You know, with D Hop wanting out, you know, the Cardinals are gonna have to move him. They're gonna have to do something with him. So, you know, I feel like if we offer up a third round pick, that might be the move of the night, to be honest with you. And then, you know, if that were to happen, hypothetically speaking, I think we would see Lamar Jackson agree to play. He would sign the franchise tag, and you know, we'd be ready to rock and roll for at least one more season, you
Yeah.
know? So that would be the most surprising trade to me. And it would also be, man, I would love it too. I would love it. We would go crazy on the stream if that happened on Thursday.
And think about it. So let's say it's 9 or 10 o'clock at night. We just trade back from 22. We swap first and we get a third or a fourth rounder.
Yeah.
Take that pick, give it to Hopkins. Right then, it makes your pick, that next pick, a lot easier. You know, you don't have to reach for a receiver. You can sit there. You can look at DB, O lineman, D lineman, edge. It just makes your life that much easier. So
Yeah. Let's see. Jonathan Washington Jr. says, I like Quentin Johnson, but not for the Ravens. He's too much of a developmental guy for me to justify him at 22. Okay.
yeah, we're looking at day
Real
one.
raw.
Guys that come in and start day one. I mean, Hamilton
Yeah.
didn't start day one, but we knew he was going to start. There wasn't
Yeah.
a talent issue. It was just we had too many people.
See, a Deep Mahmood says, bold prediction, Ravens trade their third plus either Duvernay or a 2024 second or third for Hopkins and sign him to a 3-year deal.
I wouldn't want to give away our 2024 second round pick and a third round pick. I don't want to. I would do third and Duvernay. That I want to keep our second round pick for next year. I hate not having a second round pick.
Well, you said you wouldn't do third and Duvernay, or you would?
I would. That just giving away that second round pick because we don't have one this year, which sucks.
Right.
Because like there's just so much talent in the second round. Like we got Dobbins in there 2 years ago. We get in the second round. We had Ojabo last year. So,
Yeah.
but I definitely will be willing, maybe a third this year and a third next year. I do, because I think we're gonna get a comp pick for Ben Powers, and this is me third or fourth round.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to think ahead.
Comp picks. All right, let's see. We do have a super chat donation. This one's coming from Oscar Lilienthal. Thank you so much, Oscar, dropping the 5-piece in the chat, making it rain here in this episode 166 of the Purple Rain podcast. Make sure you guys like the video for Oscar. Thank you so much. Says Zay Flowers is my favorite player in the draft. I saw him play when I went to BC for grad school. He is electric. I take him over Jackson Smith and Jigba hands down.
Whoa.
Okay.
I respect it because when I saw Christian Watson play in person, I was like, that dude is a dog. Like,
when did you see him play?
When North Dakota State played Towson in 2021, they beat him like 30 to something. Like, it was bad. Like it was the first home game that was my first year on campus. Like it was like packed. It was warm out, and he hit us for like a 70-yard touchdown and just gritted in the end zone. It was so fucking disrespectful. It was, and then like I started hearing his name, and I saw the Packers draft him. Like I wasn't surprised he's doing what he's doing because he's just nasty. Now he's gonna be playing Jordan Love. Good luck.
Yeah, Jordan Love era officially underway. But yeah, Zay Flowers, that is interesting that you see him in person. It's always different when you see him in person, like my guy Alex was just saying. Yeah, shout out to you, Oscar. We do have another super chat donation. This one's coming from the Purple Rain pioneer himself. From the parking lot.
From the Purple Rain
parking lot. Bossy Raven with the 50-piece in the chat says, just because y'all my guys. Bossy Raven, man. Thank you so much, man. Making it absolutely thunderstorm in this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. That is crazy. That is crazy, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. We really, really do appreciate that, man. Wow. Hope you're ready for the draft. I hope you guys are ready for the draft.
Yeah.
You guys come through, hang out with us. We're going to be pretty much live streaming the entire first round, or at least until the Ravens do their picks. I can't remember. How do we do it? Do we always do the whole first round, or we just do it to the Ravens?
We did till the Ravens pick last year. I remember. We got Linderbaum. We kind of, and then we have obviously like reaction videos, throughout the weekend. It's my favorite weekend of the year. I think draft weekend. I worked myself to no end. I took off of work for it, and I'm ready to have no brain come Saturday around 5 o'clock.
Oh yeah, pumping out them videos. Guys, listen, again, I said on the last episode, I'm gonna say it on this one. Follow this guy on TikTok. Go on TikTok and
Oh,
follow Simply
TikTok.
AS10,
Oh,
man. Yeah. I
TikTok.
mean, I think he has a great TikTok page, man. He's always posting like the behind the scenes, the mic'd up NFL moments. Love it.
Thank
Love
you.
it. So
Thank you.
yeah.
What I wanted to bring up something. Oh, we're talking about Orioles games a couple of streams ago. I went on Friday. Tell you
Mhm.
what a time. What a
Oh yeah.
time. $12 tickets with the student ID.
Oh.
We got to go. I'm telling you, saw a walk off. They got good food there.
Okay.
Oriole Stadium is the place to be on a summer night. That's all I gotta say.
Really? Okay. Right across from M&T. And yeah, I actually have a friend who just said he went to an Orioles game yesterday. And yesterday when he went to the game, he saw Justin Tucker. Justin Tucker was
Yep.
at the game yesterday. So,
Humphrey was at the game on Friday when I went. He was right by
oh,
home plate,
nice.
but he was
You
on his
saw him?
phone. He was on his phone. Like, bro,
Oh,
watch the
you know
game.
Humphrey. He be tweeting, bro.
He was probably talking about how he hates cheese noodles or something like that.
Yeah, something random. Oh, he's the most random guy. Love him though. Love him
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know. Okay. Let's go ahead and I want to ask you, Alex, before we wrap up. Did you happen to see the fight this past weekend?
Okay. All right. I need you to hear me out.
Okay.
I was up. My soccer team has drawn 3 straight games. Things
Mm.
weren't going so well for me in the land of sports. I'm like, you know what? I'm bad luck. I took it. I'm like, I want Tank to win, so I'm not going to watch it. I was right. I was right. I'm happy I didn't. I know that's so stupid to think, but I'm like, if I watch it, then bad's going to happen. I saw the highlights of it, though.
Yeah. It was
He
a good
wasn't
fight.
losing. He wasn't losing coming out with Chief Keef. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That wasn't happening.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Once he came out with Chief Keef to Love Sosa, man, I was like, come on, man, what are you doing? My dog's like all up in the face right now. But once he came out to the Chief Keef, I was like, yeah, this. And they said, obviously he's from Baltimore. Now I know a lot of people from Baltimore. They like to separate, people from Baltimore, not part of the DMV, not part of Maryland. But when the announcer said, from Baltimore, Maryland, it kind of fired me up a little bit. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I know like everybody's watching this right now, and this kid at the end of the day is from Maryland. So like that, I thought that was really cool to see. But it was a great fight though. You really got to see the IQ of Tank Davis, and a lot of people don't give him the credit for that. They just think he's a power puncher. But the way that he kind of like dismantled Ryan was like very, very smart, very, very interesting to watch. But yeah, great fight from both guys. I think Ryan put up a pretty good fight despite, not being able to get off his left hook, his signature left hook or whatever. But no, it was a good fight. Definitely big shout out to both guys. And I want to see Tank fight. I think Shakur Stevenson. I want to see him fight him next. I feel like that'd be a great fight. Great fight. But let me see. Rain Gang, smash that like button. Thank you so much, Bossy Raven. We appreciate you. We got Huddled Up Films in the house. Says, hey, family, draft week. This is your week, man. This is your
I know
week.
you're ready. I know you're ready, Jason.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can. I know you're ready. Sports game.
All
I do
that
see.
study is
Yes,
about to pay off.
you do post about the Orioles a lot. Yeah, the Orioles. I'm telling you, it's a fun time in Baltimore sports right now. I think when Lamar signs the deal. I mean, seeing Odell with Gervonta Davis was like really cool in my opinion.
That was cool.
Like the fact he gave him a jersey, like he's really. I know it's really a cliche, but he's accepting the city and the city's accepting him, and it's just a really good thing to see. I think it's going to be great things in the fall when football comes around.
Yeah. We do have another super chat donation. This one's coming again from Max, the Purple Rain Pioneer himself. We just stamped it on this episode. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate you, bro. We really do. So speaking of seeing in person, Clark Phillips, a day one cornerback in the third out of Utah, locked up Addison. Okay.
Yeah. Did a video on him.
I didn't
like
get to
him.
see that matchup.
I did. Yeah, I did. I have a video on him whenever he gets drafted. Tell you what, speaking of like drafting stuff, I have went to the depths of hell to get like clips for like. So there's a guy, I think Starling, is it Starling something? The fifth dude goes to like FCS like UAB. I had to go feel like the most random websites to find clips of this guy. I'm watching San Jose State play. It's like crazy when you think about how many colleges there really are in football and like how these
Yeah.
are like their only like prospect they had in so long. So I love the
Right.
draft. It's most random, guys coming out. So,
Yeah, from
but yeah,
all over
Clark
the
Phillips.
world, not all over the nation, all over the country.
Yeah, Starling
It's really
Thomas.
cool.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you.
Starling Thomas. Shout out Jason, man. Shout out Jason.
Baller
Yeah.
defensive back, day 3.
Yeah. All right. So I think we're going to go ahead and leave it there for this episode of the Purple Rain podcast, episode 166, guys. If you're getting in here late, go ahead and hit that rewind button. Whoop, right back to the beginning. Make sure you don't miss anything. Talk about a lot of good stuff tonight. Thank you guys for coming through. If you're not watching this live and you're part of the hashtag replay gang, thank you guys so much for listening as well. Make sure hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, and if you enjoyed what you just heard, what you just listened to, and leave your comments down below with any questions, comments, concerns about the draft, anything you want to talk about, So yeah, this is us signing off from the Ben Cleveland episode. Heard my guy Jason here. Fortune Byron says live during the draft Thursday. Absolutely.
Yes.
For what, the third year straight, Alex?
Third year straight. Yeah, we did 2021, 2022, 2023. I definitely would have probably a drink on standby.
Sure.
Gonna have some fun. Gonna be some talking about probably a little bit of everything. We're gonna be here for a couple of hours.
Right.
I know that everybody else is going live too, so like, make sure to watch replay. When stuff happens, because if you're not locked in here.
Yep. It's gonna be a great Thursday, great draft. So yeah, make sure you guys tune into the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel because we will be going live on our annual draft live stream.
Annual, that feels good.
I know.
Good to say.
I know. Man. Let's see. So last couple things. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast, like you see down below. Make sure you follow me on Twitter or Instagram if you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to, on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def, and then this guy over here, find him on Twitter at simplyas10, on Instagram at simplyas10.prod, on TikTok at simplyas10 as well. And you guys know the YouTube, man. The YouTube's gonna be real busy this weekend. It's gonna be real busy for Simply As10. So make sure you guys tune in.
The goal is like 200
videos. 200 videos?
That's the goal. Ooh. I'm not near it. Like, I just I'm trying to do everybody but the O lineman. All right. I don't know how to scout O lineman. I don't plan on learning. Okay. So that's not my forte. But yeah. We'll see.
We'll see. 200 videos. I will be praying for your computer and its well-being for sure.
Yeah, let's pray.
And last but not least, make sure you go on manscaped.com and use our code PRP to save 20% off your Manscaped order. You guys know Manscaped, man, the nation leader in below-the-belt male personal hygiene products. Make sure you guys go ahead and check them out. We've got tons of good stuff. The Lawnmower 4.0, the Beard Hedger. You were talking about the boxers earlier. You got a nice little travel bag. There's a lot of good stuff on Manscaped. Yeah.
Travel bag. I'm going on a cruise in August. That travel bag is going to be fucking clutch. I'm telling you. You can put like...
Let me tell you the other... Oh,
what's up? I was saying you can put the vitamins in there. You can put your toothbrush, your toothpaste, your floss. Don't forget the floss. Remember that.
Yeah. And it's a high quality bag too. Real high quality bag. Feels really good in the hand. But then the other really, really clutch item that they sell as well is the nose hair trimmer. I know I've said it before. I know a lot of us, we go to our barbers, we get shaped up, whatever, we get our haircuts. They don't get in the nose, most of them don't. I'd say the vast majority of barbers do not trim your nose hairs. So you can head over to manscaped.com. They've got a wonderful nose hair trimmer, fully wireless, of course, charges USB-C. And it lasts, the battery on their products too lasts like months. It's damn near forever. Yeah. I think I've had the Lawnmower 4.0. That one, I've charged it maybe once or twice, and we've had it for like a year now.
I've charged mine, I think, twice.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Crazy. So make sure you head over to manscaped.com, use our code PRP to save yourself 20% off, plus free shipping. And with that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out.
Thank you for coming through episode 166 of the Purple Rain Podcast. Hope everybody, thank you for that two-bone, Jabari. Thank you.
Yes, making it rain.
Better late than never. He came through. He slid right in there. He slid through the back door. Well, thank you for coming through, everybody. And we cannot wait to see you on Thursday. I know I am ready for it. I know you're ready for it. I know we're all ready for it. It's going to be just a night for just not only Ravens fans, just football fans. I cannot wait. We'll talk about each and every pick. Cannot wait. But thank you for coming through. It's a 166. And as always, stay positive, test negative.
And never, ever forget to call God. It's been episode 166.